All right. So, character creation in PM is specifically designed to draw people to ideas. It is meant to inspire them through sort of randomness. It's one of the few things I like about that RPG, who will not be named, is that it does have a certain way of drawing player ideas out through its randomness. I do think it has other flaws, but uh, I do really appreciate and really enjoy the side of things where we inspire people through randomly rolling. So, coming over here to the character sheet, first off, let me explain the premise of what we're going to do in this little intro moment. I have not thought about a character whatsoever. I have not had any kind of inspirational idea, but I am going to sit here and I am going to click on this random adjective generator, and I'm going to select. You know what I'll do? I will, since I don't have. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm going to pick 10 adjectives, generate randomly, and then we're going to roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and see what the adjective we get is. So we got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mindless. All right. We're gonna do a mindless character today. Sounds fun. So I'll come up with a name later, but step 1 of PM character creation is we're going to start in the middle here with our attributes. And so our attributes are all going to start at a flat 10. I should have had a notepad up. Darn it. I'll have a notepad by me. But so what we're going to do first is we have might, dexterity, endurance, perception, cognition, knowledge, and connection. But unfortunately, this person is probably not going to have a lot of knowledge. So we have to set our priorities. Obvious, and I think I've talked about this before, but these are pretty standard. Might is how strong you are, how good are you at lifting things. Dexterity, how quick you move. Endurance, how much pain you take. Perception, how much you can see or are aware of through, your conditions and your abilities. Cognition is your ability to think on your feet. Knowledge is your history, or is your knowledge of history and science and so on, sort of like all the stuff you'd go to school for. And connection is your ability to connect with people. And discipline is your ability to root yourself and resist any kind of outside influence, whether that be intimidation, fear, or unnatural mental influence. I've just had an idea with the mindless. Since the dice selected mindless for our character role, what if we expand the character a little bit more? What if this is actually what if they are a mindless worker drone? They are a bureaucrat. They're a pencil pusher turned adventurer. And so they are somebody who is not usually used to this kind of thing. Grant's in the chat. Grant says this sheet looks updated. This is actually the old sheet. Fun fact. This is the original sheet that ships with the beta. I got rid of the inventory, apparel, and weapons section and replaced it with a spells and abilities section that I don't have it pulled up. But this is the one that is form fillable because I had access to Adobe Acrobat at the time. And so this works best. This is going to work best. So to explain to Grant what we're doing, I rolled on a random adjective generator, and we landed on a mindless character. But I think I'm going to twist it in a way. Our guy's going to be a mindless business drone type person. So, step 1 of PM character creation, as described in here. Ignore the fact that it's purple. This is hot edits. This is the actual PM manuscript that I update and read regularly. We are going to start with a flat 10 in all of our attributes, regardless of anything. And then we are going to roll different size dice at different times, which is why I have roll 20 up, to decide our attributes. So, starting out, I'm going to roll a d12, giving me an 8. Then I'm going to roll a d12 again, giving me a 6. Then I'm going to roll d10 twice. 9 and 3. Then we get one of those sweet, sweet d6s. 2 2s, good God. D8. 2 d8s. And then we do a d6. It was mad at me because I misidentified it. And a 1 and a 5. Good God. So, thankfully, we can survive this. I can re-roll anything one time, but I have to keep the roll that I have to keep the re-roll that I make. So 3, you're out. 2, you're out. 2, you're out. 1, you're out. Just to be safe. So my 3 was off of a d10. So we're gonna hit that d10 one more time. Rude. So d10 stays a 3. 2, that came from our d8, both 2s. Okay, so that's a 5. That's a little bit better. And then another one, and that comes out to a 3. So you know what? 2 is better, or 3 is better than 2. And lastly, our d6 yielded a 1, so let's re-roll him. Great, we've got another 3. Cool and good. So now we hop over to the people's chart, previously called races, I know. And what do we want this character to be? The different peoples of Keru are many and numerous. But I think I am going to go... if I want to get mindless, I am going to go with a... Oh, sorry, I'm messing up my own steps. I'm going to add 10 to all of these. So my 8 becomes an 18. My 6 becomes a 16. My 9 becomes a 19. 13. 15. 13. 13. And 15. So now I pick one of the different peoples. And because they haven't shown up... yeah, I'm going to go... I'm going to mess with it because I have my fun here. My favorite peoples, the deep folk. I'm going to make a deep folk character, which as you can see means I will receive these bonuses. So now I'm going to order my stuff in my character sheet. And where's my character sheet? Where's my character sheet? There it is. Too many tabs. Okay. So he's going to get... I'm going to go for 18 might. Yeah. 19 dexterity. 16 perception. 13... yeah, he's going to get 13 no. 15 discipline. see, how am I doing? Doing all right. And then is it just my two 13s that need to get placed? 13, 13. Oh, and then one of my 15s. Okay. So he's going to get 15 connection. 13. And 13 endurance. So we're building a glass cannon. We're firmly in the glass cannon realm. Yeah. That makes sense. And so, okay. And so now I'm going to add the deep folk modifiers when we get there, Grant. I'm going to add the deep folk modifiers. So he gets 15 added to his might. 15 plus 18. Sorry. I am abysmal at math, as all good adults should be. I don't trust anybody who's actually good at math. So 19 plus 10 takes us to 29. I should have known that one. Then he goes up to 23 endurance, 26 perception, 26 or 23 cog, 23 no. Unfortunately, due to the political situation on Keru, there is a level of hostility between the deep folk and everyone else. So they actually suffer connection due to the sort of stigma attached to deep folk out and about. So he is going to struggle with connection due to that pre-existing hostility. But it's okay because he gets 30 discipline. So that's our character so far. Then we're going to move on to his specialties. And these are the ways that he can enhance his rolls. What used to be here? Well, something got deleted. We'll never know. And that's going to be, and that's a mystery that I will leave for time. So this guy is going, so as I said, this guy is going to be a bureaucrat. He's going to be a mindless pencil pushing office drone. Exciting. So he gets 1 tier 3. So checked off here. And we're going to give him bureaucracy. As I spell words well. Bureaucracy. There we go. He's going to get bureaucracy at tier 3. He is going to get etiquette because, of course, he has to be polite when dealing with his boss. And we'll give him... We're going to give him survival. So, there we go. Hello, Casper. Welcome. We're just making a character that I am thinking up on the spot in this exact second. And so I have had no prior planning, no pre-thought other than just who this guy is. And so he's getting survival to combine with his bureaucracy and etiquette. What do I want him? What else do I want him to have? I want him to be quite tactical. I'm going to also give him politics. He's starting to get into it. And I'm thinking he gets one more. What else does he deserve? I'm going to go with awareness. And then we're going to hop back over to the People's tab. And I don't want him to be from the Deep Folk home isles. Instead, I am going to take him all the way down. And I'm going to take him to Rayajak. No, I'm sorry. I'm changing my mind as I work through. Ooh, actually, I really like this idea. I really like the idea of him actually being born in Gelia. So the occupied territory of Gelia that is under the control of the Deep Folk, he was born there. Maybe he obviously would predate the actual invasion, but you know, people move around. People are born pretty much everywhere at all times. So I think he was born there. I think he, in fact, might be a bureaucrat by day, but he works for the government. Works for the Deep Folk government, cataloging ammunition and ammunition and sort of things like that. So he has an experience with explosives, or at the very least a passing knowledge of explosives. And so he is going to get history, Gelia as well. And these are his specialties so far. We can up these later, but this is the core of who he is. No, he's not a capitalistic workaholic. He's a mindless drone. He's burnt out from the world. The two very different things. We'll get into why that matters later. So, hopping back over. So actually, we don't even need to check the character creation system because the whole thing is designed to be followed counterclockwise. So we started with this center pillar, and then we're going to swing over here to specialties, and now we're going down to events. So there are far too many events to really catalog wholly and quickly, but the core of it is you can buy positive events. You start with 5, and then you can buy back up to, I believe the number is 7. I know my game. My game is a thing I know. Yes, you can buy back up to 7 more points by taking negatives. So we are going to give him... Remember, he's mindless, so he doesn't think too hard. So instead, we are going to give him... We're going to give him... 5... Sorry, I just have to keep track as I go. We're going to give him Magical Denial. That grind set... that grind set does not leave time for magic. So so anybody who casts a spell on him has to take a -10 to targeting rolls. Excuse me. And all spell durations are reduced. Reduced 1d4. So, okay, so he loses that. And then we are going to give him Not Squeamish. Sorry, wait, let me see what Magical Denial gets him. So that's -3, taking him down to 2. And he is going to take Not Squeamish, minusing him all the way down to 2. Not Squeamish. Again, because he's just so dead inside from his 9-to-5 job. And so he comes down to Not Squeamish, +20 to all violence, to resist disgust. from violence. Certain conditions can give allies and people observing malices from just watching huge amounts of blood and gore. And so he is able to resist that because he just really doesn't care. As a guy who works in what I'm going to start calling an explosive factory, he is able to look at... he's seen so many people blown up by on-the-job accidents that he is no longer concerned. Moral of the story is get your OSHA cert, kids. And we are going to say that he is, in addition to being supernaturally or magically disinclined or magically safe, he is also spiritually dumb. And so by that, he has a malice to all perception checks related to anything supernatural or anything like that. So we're going to see spiritually dumb. And that gives him minus 20 per rolls. To what are you testing, Grant? To supernatural and +1 condition. You can abbreviate however you want. Oh, different Grant. Yes, nice. And then, but here's the thing, because we got to make him interesting. This man is also a traitor. He has decided to become a traitor to his immediate workforce. He's undermining it. He is evolving beyond. So I'm going to say secretly loyal to the nation. That would be very bad if he were ever caught for that. So he could be immediately killed, but also as he's going about his adventures, he needs to hide his loyalties to everybody else. And he's also going to now take for a -2 off of, so he's now back up to 7, which means he's maxed out. No, other way around. He is a rebel. Like, he starts as a loyalist. He's a rebel at his core. And we're going to take 2 away from this 7 to give him, and by the nation, I mean the secret society, the nation, as seen in the first episode of Menagerie of Fate. And I'm going to give him unstoppable will, which lets him roll dis for end checks. So because he is, again, this goes back to his whole idea of just a guy who is so internal, so like in the physical, he can actually just mentally shut down his endurance, and he is and can just roll discipline in place of rolling endurance. Then we are going to give him, I'm also going to give him unremarkable as well. So we're down to 3. Of course we are. Of course he's unremarkable, which gives him, which is a softer event, but it gives him bonuses to hiding in crowds and being remembered. So he can hide out that way. And let's see, what are we gonna do? Ooh. I realized I've just I don't know if anyone if anyone watching has ever read one of the Caiaphas Cain books. but he's quickly just becoming Jurgen, and I really enjoy that. Yeah, I have to. I really have to make him spiritually blank to go along with everything else he has. Spiritually blank. Plus 20 to hide from. So he is. So although he can't find the supernatural, anytime demons, plenties, abyssals come to hunt him down, he's just able to go. He just slides right past them because he makes such a little psychic impact into the world. So that takes him down to 2. He's got 1 left. Now he could leave this. He could leave this here and convert his last event point to resource points, to RP. But I'm not going to have him do that for the sake of sanity. Because you can't get events through advancement. You can only get them through story events, like story things that happen in roleplay. So instead, he is going to... so I'm going to spend them all here to make sure that he is guaranteed events. And I think what I'm going to give him is... We got to keep... Remember, we're trying to keep mindless. We're trying to keep absolute nothing. And I think I'm going to do perfect timing to round us out. So by perfect timing, he is able to choose who he gets to fight in combat every time. Okay. So this would be where we would go into equipment and assets, and I'm not going to do that for the sake of time. We'll go into equipment and assets at a later time. What I will do is go into aesthetic really fast. So part of this is we do not care to model every single glove, hat, and so on of whatever. So instead, what we do is we go by general nationality and subculture. So to answer that question, Casper, it's kind of a conversation between the player and the GM, where if a player sees an event that really fits, the player could 100% be like, well, I think this has happened to Deacon. I believe he is now in a place where, for example, he really has been partying a lot in the game. I think he could probably deserve the party animal event. And at the same time, I, as the GM, could be like, well, Deacon, you've never read anything on stream. I don't think Deacon can read. How can I convince you that Deacon is illiterate? Or something like that. It is as with all things in PM, in any good RPG, I should say, not just PM, but any RPG you're playing, whether that's Apocalypse World, Fate, or the Cypher system, everything should come down to a conversation between the GM and the player. Does it apply to changing events that you already have? Yes, pretty much, but not in a way of like, oh, I don't use this event a lot, or I haven't had an opportunity for this event to occur. I would think it would be more something like, well, I think Deacon has kind of stopped being, I think you more saying, I think Deacon, say he has unremarkable. I think Deacon has started wearing remarkable clothes now. He can't call him unremarkable anymore. That kind of thing. So, His outfit wise, we decide it based on nationality, which decides the materials that they wear. Then the subculture decides the cut and style of their outfit. So in the case of our friend here, we're going to give him... See, this is where the old character sheet falls apart. So I am just going to really quickly write, he is going to have deep focus aesthetic. Ooh, I don't know where that jumped to. He's going to have deep focus aesthetic, and he is going to have... yeah, he is going to wear agent subclothes. Not so much because he is a secret agent, but more because he does not want to stand out. And so with that in mind, he is going to have the red woad tattoos. He's going to have the red woad tattoos, and he's also going to have a... but they're all going to be kept very restrained, not going to stand out. He's also going to wear the sort of furs that are expected of a deep folk, but he's going to eschew the beautiful gems and jewelry. All right, doing great. We're skipping all that. So now we get on to traits. And traits are where we get lucky numbers from. So I guess it's as good as time as any to start with that. Grant has already requested that they give us one lucky number. So Grant, pick one lucky number, dear. I'm now sitting here waiting for Grant to give me one lucky number. Wow, 69. So original. Proud of you, baby. Casper, would you like to also submit a lucky number before I roll the other two? 13. Okay, actually that lets me talk about a little bit of sort of the sort of mechanical choice that you can get out of a lucky number. So I'm going to roll the last two. I'm going to roll two more. 47 and 33. Those are trash lucky numbers. Those are actually, in fact, some of the worst lucky numbers, I would argue. Especially the 33. And so using PM's one-time reroll rule, I'm going to reroll both of them because that is my prerogative as I'm allowed to do that. We're going to go boop, 78. Hey, that's my old number from when I played sports. And 57, the designated lucky number of the group. How good. So he's going to take 57 and 78. And last one that we're going to do, 98 per Cat's suggestion. So the way that lucky numbers work, as I've sort of talked about, is they act as sort of a double without being a double. Anytime you would fail on a lucky number, it is automatically turned into a success at 0. Anytime you would succeed on a lucky number, it is considered a... anytime you would succeed on a lucky number, it is considered a critical success, just like if you would have rolled doubles. The game that you play with lucky numbers, though, is do you want, actually, to quote Brennan Lee Mulligan, I believe, I'm going to butcher the quote, but it's do you fear disappointment, or do you crave mediocrity? And so with a 13 as my lucky number, I am guaranteed to get very solid, very clear successes. Even if my opponent rolls a 1, I have the addition of crushing them on a 13. But at the same time, if I'm rolling 50s, 70s, 90s, I need to protect myself from failure. And so when you do that, you are dodging failure. As you're sort of keeping yourself safe from failure. So now we're going to swing over to here. And so looking at the rules, Next up, I do my social health, which is my dis bonus plus my no bonus. So in this case, we are going to add his discipline bonus, which is 3, 1. Sorry, I have to do this now because I dream of a day where I have a programmed character sheet that just does this for me. I wish I could code. Anyway, dis plus no is equal to 5, the classic, the designated health. Health is his endurance bonus plus 2, so 12. Glass cannon. Then his mental health is cog plus 10, so that is his cog bonus plus 10. So his cog bonus is also 12 for mental health. His social damage is con plus cog. Yes, I know this. I'm good at my own game. So he's got a pretty trash social damage at only 3. And mental damage is, his mental dam is per plus 1d4. So it's per bonus of 2 plus 1d4. And then the old character sheet splits melee and range damage up. I simplified it because it was too many numbers to cram in that little box. So all I'm going to do for the sake of sanity is he gets 1d4 as his damage die. That is now one single number. But we'll address that in a second. So we now move on to milestones and advancements. And we will talk about advancement mid-game at a later time. God, will we talk about it at a later time. It is one of the... That and Magic are probably the two biggest systems of PM. So instead, all I'm going to do is I've got 10 advancements to spend, and advancements can be spent in this way. And so I'm going to do just that. So we are going to give him we're going to give him a tier 2 in explosives right out the gate. I'm also going to give him a tier 1 specialty in knives because you know what? A pen is kind of like a knife and a pen is mightier than the sword. I got to make him at least vaguely viable. And actually, you know what? He doesn't need that now that I think about that. No, he's not going to get that. Instead, we're going to hop over to the specialties list real fast. I'm pulling things out of Google. My mouse is dying because my cats kick it off of the my desk all the time, and it is severely impacting my War Thunder game. It's ruining my KD, and I don't like it. No, instead, he is actually going to get a tier of one of my least favorite specialties. Yeah. He is going to get a tier in improvised weapons. Sad. I hate improvised weapons so much. Of course, also because he is a super bureaucrat, he is going to get a tier 7 in that. Or a tier 4 in that, bringing him up to 7. I'm now going to spend 4 points. Yeah. I'm going to spend 4 points in that, bringing him down to 3 advancements to up his dexterity. So, important to note, attribute points cost 1 point per advancement. You are going to fall into the... don't fall into the trap of just upping everything by going straight to attributes, because power creep is real, kids. And instead, we are going to increase his... I'm going to keep him as a glass cannon, but I'm going to up his dice type, or his damage die, to a d6, bringing him down to 2. So he goes up 1 dice size in that, and then I'm also going to increase his social health by 2 per that. So he's now up to a 7 social health. Now, also, some of these choices are being made against balance because he doesn't have an outfit, but that's whatever. That's fine. So he's down to 1 point left. And I think it's only appropriate. I want to keep that glass cannon life. I think I'm going to up. Making me think. Oh, I'm so torn. There's so many things I kind of want to do, but I don't know what I want to do. Let's go with discipline. No, that's a waste. That is absolutely a waste, unquestionably. No, but it's character appropriate. I'm committing. No, I'm not. I'm lying to you. I'm lying through my teeth. Instead, I'm going to up his RP by 1 because you know what? We keep talking about how this man has a job and he needs money. And so we finally round out. We've done all of our advancements. He is at 11. So now for my absolute favorite part. We have to find his face. I think I need a new mouse pad. I think the mouse pad is actually the thing that's disrupting everything. So we head over to finding his face. And the way we're going to do that is we now go back through the character sheet. We go over our work. His highest attribute. We're first going to look to his highest attribute, which in this case is dexterity and might. I'm going to decide which one aligns best with him. And in this case, I'm going to say it is his dexterity. So dexterity, as we can see here, maps to B. Dexterity maps to B. Then might is his next one. And then discipline is his final one. So he is BAH so far. Bah. And then we have to go to his skills. So normally when I tell people to make characters, I always have to scream at them, ignore the number or the letters. Do not pay any attention to the letters. Sorry, I'm clicking on stuff all over my computer. Ignore the letters. And so now he's got bureaucracy in a G. And then he has etiquette, survival, and explosives as his next 2. So he has to pick 2 of these, whichever ones we think relate most to his character. Etiquette is definitely going on there. Etiquette is going to be a B. And he is going to have explosives or survival. Which one relates more to his character? I'm going to say probably explosives. Oh, they're both C, so it doesn't matter. So he's going to take a C. And then we need to pick the events that are his highest identifiable trait. So actually Grant said in the chat, this part is also aided by having a backstory, but I would actually invite you to think about it as helping inspire you to make a character rather than having to write a whole story where we talk about this guy and everything he is. Thinking about sort of having to make those evaluations in the very small. Is it more important that he survives day to day with who he is, or is it more important that he blows shit up? And each one has a value that has to be evaluated and appreciated. And so him having this him making this choice between explosives or survival matters and can actually help the player write the backstory. You can have this backstory you can have this character sheet before you have a backstory, before you know anything about the character that you want to write. And so as we scroll through, I definitely think Traitor needs to be on there. no matter what. Trader's his big one. And I think I gotta go with I feel like one of the I feel like the magical denial ones could all fit in various ways. I'm gonna go with, or I could go with Unstoppable Will. He just keeps going. Yeah, I think this guy's a domino. In keeping with the original design spec of, he is of this man is, no matter what, he is a absolute mindless drone. I think Unstoppable Will is the better get on that one. So here we have a random string of letters: B, A, H, G, B, C, F, H. So what does that mean? Well, we head over to the face category, and we're going to note that B is the first letter on the list, and H is the second to, or occur the most often. And so first letter determines the first letter in this little 2-letter combination here, and most occurring letter is the letter that occurs, and most occurring letter is the second letter. So in this case, he is a martial artist. Now, this is something that is determined by the game itself, or by the game. It is outside of the player's hands. And so we would write here at the top, his face is martial artist, and he gets free +2 counters on any roll where he makes an unarmed attack against an unarmed opponent. So basically, if he punches somebody in the face, he immediately gets 2 counters. What a cool feature. Now, I hear what you're saying, but Christian, I thought we spent this whole time making him a bureaucrat. I thought he was going to be somebody who did this, who did that. And to that, I am going to say he is a martial paperwork artist. So when you do your face, you are supposed to add an adjective of some kind to his you're supposed to add an adjective to the face to make the martial artist and the mimic and the enforcer different from every other martial artist, mimic, and enforcer. Grant, I do not know off the top of my head, what is Deacon's adjective and face? Paperwork can be an adjective. I'm the GM. And so in this way, he is, and what is, can you tell me what Deacon's face and adjective is? Oh, I think he's a lone drifter or something, isn't he? Or like, is he a fanatical drifter? Lone wanderer? No, it's lone drifter. Wanderer is not one. I wouldn't have allowed a Fallout 3 reference to get this far into my game without talking about it. Yeah, lone drifter. That's right. So Deacon is a lone drifter. He's a guy who's isolated. He's somebody who travels through, but he's still a guy who stays stationary because he's drifting ideologically. He's drifting through his life. Part of the fun of this is taking that character and then walking them back into their story. And so if you've ever been to a DMV, you've seen somebody who is an artist with paperwork. You've seen somebody fill out 25 forms. I mean, honestly, that's what accountants are. And so in this case, our guy is somebody who could sit down and work paperwork like an artist. He also happens to be quite good at punching people. And so it is only appropriate that we name this guy something. And so I have a list of example names from all over. Yeah, basically, we spent an hour making a CPA. But a CPA who uses bombs. So I have a whole bunch of different ones. And no, his name is not going to be Derek because I worked very hard to find appropriate Anglo-Saxon names for the game, I'm going to use my appropriate, historically accurate names. God damn it. And so in this case, I think he absolutely is a. I'm going to go with. What are we thinking? No, his name is not Derek, because I don't want him to be Arthur. I think he is looking pretty good, like a Cynric. All of you are terrible. And so his player is Christian. And this is an almost completed character. Everything you can ask for in one. And we have Cynric, the martial paperwork artist, a perfectly valid character who was started as a mindless corporate drone. That's the game, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you make a character in PM. I will mention that the beta rules have a different face list and use a slightly different system of face design that compared to this, where it picks them all at random and based on most occurrence and second most occurrence. All I would say is if you want to make a character, head over to our Discord and ask what the most up-to-date rules are, as I'm in the process of making a true valid book, or a non-beta book is what I mean. I'm making a true non-beta book, so be patient with that. But until then, if you have any questions about rules, please, oh please, do head over to our Discord. And specifically, I think it's Ask the Players or Ask the People category. And you can check that out in your own time. So I thank you for watching this part of it, and enjoy the rerun that's starting right about now.